Ed, you are a very familiar face in the financial world. You've been around, what, more than 30 years, so you must have seen some tremendous change over the years.
Yes, I mean, our industry has changed dramatically since I got into it in 1987. But to understand the status or the current place that our industry is at today, we have to go back to the 1930s. In the 1930s, an act was put in place called the Glass-Steagall Act. And the main purpose of that, along with the Banking Act, was to separate banks from competing with brokerage firms competing with insurance companies, and nobody could compete with each other. They had their own little silos. And then in 1999, the Graham-Bliley Act was put in place, and that dissolved the Glass-Steagall Act. Now, what's important about that is, at that point in time, you had online brokerage firms, you had CPAs, insurance companies, banks, all competing with each other for everyone's business. But you know what happened as a result of that? We lost the entire industry in terms of not just research, but professionalism. You had insurance people who had no knowledge about investments saying that they were financial advisors. Same thing with CPAs. They all do their business really well, but all of a sudden, all these people were in my business. And that really frustrated me because I could go up to anybody and say, what do you do for a living? They say, I'm a financial advisor. And I could ask the most basic questions. They wouldn't have the answers to the most basic stuff, but they were putting themselves out there as though they were financial advisors and professionals. So what we've done at Chapwood Investments is put together a model to literally go out and discredit those people. If I go up against somebody and I can steal business away from them with the things that we put up on our website, then I believe that I deserve that business. And if there's an insurance person out there or a CPA that says that they're a financial advisor, you know what? I'm going to come after them and I'm going to go get that business if I can. And that is what has changed in our industry, is we have way too many people, poor training across the board, and our industry has suffered dramatically because the Glass-Steagall Act went away.
Because ultimately, consumers, clients, they just want to know who they can trust.
Well, trust is a big thing. And the one thing I tell people about that, it's a really good point. The person you need to trust is yourself. And you have to learn what to ask and what you should expect from a financial advisor. I mean, if you're sitting there talking to somebody and they're talking about insurance products all the time, okay, that's a red flag that you really need to pay attention to. But it all comes back to the industry was destroyed because we had too many people come in. So let me go back on one other thing that I forgot to mention. There was a McKinsey study that was done in 1984. Merrill Lynch hired McKinsey to do this study to say, how can we grow our industry? How do we grow our business? And the McKinsey study said, hire as many people as you can. The first 25% will leave in the first year. Another 25% will leave in the following year. And then you will have been left with all of those clients, and those people would have gone on to do something different. Well, Morgan Stanley adopted that study. Back then, Prudential, Payne Weber back then, now it's UBS, and everyone just started this massive hiring. So everybody became a financial advisor at that time. And then they started getting weeded out. I love doing this business. I mean, it shows every time, I do anything. I love this, and I've been at it 30 years, and I see great opportunity in the industry, but I also see a need to discredit those people who really aren't financial advisors.